Henry Cejudo vs Merab Dvalishvili was booked for UFC 298 in February. A potential title eliminator in the Bantamweight division is booked for UFC 298, with former two-division champion Henry Cejudo set to take on streaking contender Merab Dvalishvili. Cejudo announced Sunday on his YouTube channel that he will take on Dvalishvili on the February 17 card.
Cat is officially out the bag. Yup, that's right. I'm going to be fighting Merab Dvalishvili, if I'm even pronouncing it right,
which takes place at Honda Center in Anaheim, California, with a main card that airs on pay-per-view following prelims expected on ESPN and ESPN+. Cejudo is coming off a title fight loss to then-champ Aljamain Sterling at UFC 288 in what was his return to competition after a 3-year layoff.
When it comes to combat sports, I'm number one. You won't find a better competitor than me.
He is truly a once-in-a-lifetime type of athlete.
Dvalishvili, meanwhile, is riding a 9-fight winning streak and has been pushing hard for a title opportunity, which will likely finally arrive if he gets past Cejudo. Belal Muhammad confirms his role as a UFC 296 backup fighter for Leon Edwards vs Colby Covington. Belal Muhammad is willing to do whatever it takes to get his shot at UFC gold, including weighing in as a backup fighter for the UFC 296 main event between Leon Edwards and Colby Covington. UFC CEO Dana White has previously stated Muhammad would receive a welterweight title shot after extending his unbeaten streak to 10 fights, with a short-notice win over Gilbert Burns at UFC 288 in May. His expectation is that he will fight the winner of Saturday's championship clash between Edwards and Covington, but he's leaving nothing to chance. Before we finish the video, if you enjoyed this content, like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to get the latest videos from MMA on the go. Muhammad confirmed to MMA Junkie on Sunday that he will weigh as the backup fighter in the unlikely situation where Edwards or Covington are forced to withdraw from the final UFC event of 2023, which takes place at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, with a main card that airs on pay-per-view following prelims on ESPN2 and ESPN. Islam Makhachev prefers a fresh fight with Justin Gaethje over Charles Oliveira. UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev is not one to pick opponents, but if he had his choice, he would steer clear of another rematch in his next fight. After defeating featherweight title holder Alexander Volkanovski in back-to-back fights in February and October, it seemed Makhachev was trending toward running it back with Charles Oliveira, whom he took the 155-pound strap from in October 2022, in his next outing. Arman Tsarukyan, whom Makhachev defeated by unanimous decision in April 2019, has also been clamoring for a chance at the belt following his recent knockout of Beneil Dariush. The standout contender, whom Makhachev has yet to share the octagon with, is BMF champ Justin Gaethje, who also positioned himself well in the division with a head-kick knockout of Dustin Poirier in July. And of all the options, Makhachev said he likes Gaethje the most. Jiri Prochazka hints at UFC 299 return against a top light heavyweight contender. Former UFC light heavyweight champion Jiri Prochazka is already looking forward to a comeback after a devastating defeat at UFC 295. Prochazka lost to Alex Pereira for the vacant UFC light heavyweight title in the UFC 295 headliner last month, after a year away from the octagon to recover from a nasty shoulder injury. His attempt at a triumphant comeback to the cage fell short. As Pereira begins his UFC light heavyweight title reign, a rematch with Prochazka happening next is unlikely. That leaves Prochazka to face another top 5 or top 10 contender as he looks to work his way back to a title shot. Just weeks after suffering the jaws of defeat, Prochazka has a potential suitor for his next UFC test. Rakic was supposed to return against former UFC light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz at UFC 297 next month, but Blachowicz has reportedly withdrawn from the card, leaving Rakic without a replacement opponent as of this writing. If Rakic is willing to wait a couple more months, fight with Prochazka would make sense for both sides. Rakic is coming off an injury stoppage loss to Blachowicz in May 2022 and hasn't fought since then. If Prochazka vs Rakic comes to fruition, it adds to a stacked card at the rumored Miami location. UFC 299 is headlined by a bantamweight title fight between Sean O'Malley and Marlon Vera.